everyone. Welcome to our Vision One Media Artist Shoutout podcast. My name is Ella Beth. You might not recognize me from the previous podcast. I'm here doing this week's version. And we have a special artist in here this week. Every week we've got different artists coming through, talking about their music and what inspires them and what projects they have coming up. And this week's artist is one that I have met before. In fact, I was lucky enough to get to see her sing at a performance at Vision One Media Studios. So without further ado, I would love to welcome Miss Hendricks.
Oh, hi.
I feel like that's where the applause goes.
Right. Look, I'm waiting. Hello. Hey.
Welcome. Thank you for coming and joining us.
Thank you, girl. Thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about where you grew up and what got you exposed and involved with music.
Ooh, so I was born in Birmingham, Alabama. Shout out to Birmingham. And I grew up in ATL, Georgia, Stone Mountain to be exact. Shout out to Eastside. Mm-hmm.
Eastside.
So, I started singing in the church, and it was funny because me and my cousin were both in the church choir. My grandma put us in there, like they do most kids or whatever. So, but I didn't know I could sing until I started getting solos, and my cousin didn't. So we was like, okay, well, maybe she got something. So it kind of just started there, and I just started doing talent shows and, opening up for people and just, yeah.
Okay, so that's interesting because I'm also a former, grew up singing and doing music in the church, and then went on to do professional singing, outside of church and as my career and as my job. And so I'm wondering, when was it that you knew that you wanted to pursue singing? You said that your grandma put you into the choir and you were doing it, but when did you know that you wanted to pursue this as your passion in your life and your career?
That, it's kind of a morbid answer because my big, singing debut in front of my family was actually at my granddad's funeral.
Oh, wow.
I know, right? I was really young, and I ended up singing at his funeral, and I remember being so nervous, but everyone in the church was like, oh my God, you tore the house down, and it's like, you need to be on American Idol, and and all this other stuff. And I think not getting all of that attention, but more so of how it affected people, how it moved them, how it touched them. Anything from singing Happy Birthday was bringing people to tears. And I'm like, wow, okay, maybe I got something here. And the fact that, I have a gift and I'm able to, give that back and make someone feel better, about themselves. I was like, okay, this is what I want to do.
I love that.
And that was kind of it, yeah.
I love that. And I really resonate with what you say about using the gift that you're given to then re-gift. And I think that's a really beautiful thing, especially for artists and performers and singers and musicians, because our gifting is something that we can share openly, and they say music is the universal language. So I love that.
Yes.
So how did you find your sound? I know that singers talk about this a lot, and we're always inspired by other musicians, inspired by other voices and songwriters. How did you find your own unique particular sound in your voice?
That is a good question. I think for me, it was just playing with a lot of different things. I've sung pop, rock. I actually studied Paramore. Haley, I love her voice.
Amazing.
Yes,
we stand
I dabbled in a little country, and it was just it just came down to what came from my soul. So I believe that anything that you do without any effort and it just kind of just flows out, is what you're really just supposed to be doing. And R&B has always just been I mean, like I can do the other things well, but R&B is just what sounds natural for me. That soul, that giving that passion. I grew up on '90s music, so like Boyz II Men, Mariah Carey, like Anita Baker, going further back, Shaka Khan, like that soul that has just always been a part of me in me. So. Yeah, that's how I found it.
I love that.
Staying true to yourself,
Yeah. And do you find that having like that church and gospel background also sort of plays into your sound and is also a part of...
Yeah, definitely, for sure. But it's funny because as a recording artist, you have to learn how to... It's a difference between being a singer and a recording artist. So that was something that I had to battle with when I first started, because I was super heavy on the vibrato and this and all that, and and it was every song doesn't necessarily need that. So learning, being able to just study your skill and your craft, and being able to know when to turn that off, when to put it on, and when to give a little bit of it. It was just a learning process. So yeah, at first it was a little challenging. I actually had, I remember a while back, it was a rapper. I will not say his name, probably because honestly I really don't remember. But he's a popular ATL rapper, but he's not really doing anything right now. But at the time, I was in the studio with him, and he was like, she's not no R&B singer. She need to be in the church. And I was like, So because of that, it just really made me focus. All right, I'm gonna show him I can sing. I can sing anything I want to sing. I'm gonna sing it. Period. Boom. And
I seem to be it's mutually exclusive. Why can't you? Anyway, but that's cool. I'm glad that that's. I think it's always good to get a challenge to grow your voice in different ways. And
on top of that, not letting someone box you in a certain sound because of that's how they see you. You know, so yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I completely agree. So speaking, you touched on recording. How long have you been recording for now?
Oh, child. Probably about 7 to 8 years now, I want to say. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we were talking a little bit earlier about a couple of your more recent singles. There's You'll Never Know, and that, I believe, that's the one about a toxic relationship. Is that right?
Yes, child. Yeah, it's pretty toxic. Unfortunately, but fortunately, I have a lot of experience in that area. So yeah, You'll Never Know, just it kind of touches on you being in the relationship and you're knowing that this ain't it, but you're still trying to make it work. Right. And I feel like a lot of people are stuck in relationships like that right now.
Yeah.
And I don't, and that's none of my business, that's their business. But for me, I would think I understand what it's like to be in that space. And then when you finally get the courage to do your own thing, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's brave.
Yeah.
Definitely speaks to your character. And
yeah, but You'll Never Know, she's still in it right now. So she never gets out of it. You know how it has you in it and then oh yeah, now I'm free. No, she's still in it right now.
Still in it.
But the point of the moral of the story though, is just and I think this can speak to a lot of different relationships. You're dealing with people all the time, but you never know what they're going through. You never know how you make them feel, but they're really good at hiding it, or whatever. Or they're putting you before themselves. So that can go with any relationship, to be honest.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful song that definitely highlights how it is in a more romantic relationship. And I think at the end of the day, well, certainly in my experience, that those that in particular toxic relationships and young and being young and dating and finding out who you are as well as who the other people are, I think at the very least it makes for some great songwriting. So
yeah, it makes for some really good music. That's why I was fortunately, but unfortunately, but yeah, it makes for some good relatable music, and I think that's like I try not to like stay in the toxic lane too much, but I love it there because so many people can, you know, walk up to me and tell me like, oh my God, like I love this song. It really helped me get through this. It really helped me through that. And this is why I'm doing it.
Right.
So like,
because you're relatable.
Yeah. So look, if I can help you out in any kind of way, you know, hey, I'm here for it.
Well, be warned, future paramours or love interests, because you don't want to be getting no shady songs written about you. But if that's how you act, I mean,
it is what it is.
You gotta take the good with the bad, huh?
It is what it is.
So outside of music, you've got some other things going on, and you mentioned that you have a voting group. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes. So I have a voting group entitled Blacks Vote Smart. And basically, it was birthed back in 2020 during the pandemic. So like it came from like all the riots and everything that was going on at the time and all the injustice that was happening. And it was like me and a couple of other young ladies, we were just like, what can we do? Like we didn't want to put ourselves out there in the streets, you know, at the time, but we were like, what can we do? And we really felt that it was really important that our community understood the people that they were voting for and put it into office, or that they weren't voting for because they weren't voting, you know?
Right.
So the big picture for the group is just to voters education in the community. So like we would like post up information, you know, like did you know facts. We also have information about different candidates, and it's not only on the like major side, but it's also locally as well. So like your local chief, police chiefs, like county chiefs, like all of that, we have information on it. So Blacks Vote Smart.
Blacks Vote Smart. Make sure you go, and you guys have a
Instagram.
Instagram?
Yep.
Cool. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I can't personally vote at the moment because I am not American, but if I could vote, I would vote for Stacey Abrams. She just seems like she's got it together, and similarly, you know, her going and doing registering people to vote. Like I was so impressed in the last election with how hard she worked to do that. So it is really important.
Her story is amazing. So I definitely wish her the best. Sure. Yeah, she's awesome.
Cool. Well, just to wrap up, can you let us know your social media handles and if you've got anything that you want to just talk about upcoming?
Oh, okay. Oh, yes. Let's say hey to
say hi to the people live.
We have some people on here. They're like, what's going on? Yes, say hey. But my social media handles, you can find me at Hendricks No Jimmy. So it's HENDRICKSNOJIMI. And that's everywhere. Hendricks No Jimmy.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Hendricks. It's been a pleasure to chat with you.
Yes, likewise. Thank you so much for having me, girl.
You're so welcome. And if you want to see more artists from around Atlanta and Georgia and broader, make sure that you are following Vision One Media on Instagram. We're at Vision One Media ATL. We're on Facebook, where you can find us Vision One Media on the internet. And we just love to connect artists. We love to network the creative and the wider artistic communities. So make sure that you're checking out our socials. And if you would like to be involved with this shout out, this podcast, make sure that you DM us, because we would love to have more artists here. So thank you so much, and we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah.